All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we worked on today, January 14th, okay, in class in preparation for your benchmark. So we took the focus notes on the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists. You can find a copy of these notes in class craft. Now, these notes are important because they will help prepare you for the benchmark. Okay, we have a big test coming up at the beginning of second semester. It's on the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists from Chapter 7, and it's also on the Bill of Rights from Chapter 7. All right, so we went through these steps to set up our notes. Now you can find a copy of these notes in the messages in class craft. All right. When you go over and log into Class Craft, you're going to click on Class Announcements. And once you click on Class Announcements, scroll all the way down to the bottom and you'll see the Federalist and Anti-Federalist link. You're going to click on that and make a copy. Now, once you make your copy, you'll notice that it's already filled in with this information. Okay, let me drag that over. Okay. Should look like this. So you're going to, click it open, make your copy. You'll also notice that there is a Google Draw already there for your thinking map. And so if you double click on this, you'll be able to take some of your notes. So you may want to pause it here and kind of get set up because you'll take your notes here. Now, the thinking map and everything is in there for you. So that's already set up. So you may want to go over to the textbook and open up 3.1 from chapter 7. You should be able to get there through Schoology in the textbook folder, or you can go directly to NatGeo in class link and just open it up. It's in unit 3, I believe. All right. So we also worked on these paragraphs. So people read in pairs and then they wrote down summaries. So you may want to pause it here and take a look at some of the sample summaries that came from the reading. Okay, now that you paused it, let's take a look at the notes. All right. So as you can see here, we took a few notes, okay? And please understand real quick that we are skipping ahead a couple of events to get to this conclusion in this showdown between the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists. Okay, this Constitution that we currently use even today is the same Constitution that they debated and fought over in 1787. Okay, so we skipped over a riot that happened after the American Revolution, the first draft of the Constitution that was weak. So we'll get back to those once after at the beginning of second semester and after we take the benchmark. But just know for now that they finally rewrote the Constitution, and this is what happened. Two groups formed: the Federalists, who supported the Constitution as it was written, and the Anti-Federalists, who opposed the Constitution as it was written. Now, the Federalists, according to your book, lived in cities. These were folks who loved international trade. They wanted a strong, stable government, and they also wanted this government to protect them, to protect settlers from attacks from Native Americans that they may have encountered. Okay. The Anti-Federalists, on the other hand, lived on farms. They loved liberty and the pursuit of happiness and freedom. And they did not want this all powerful, strong government to abuse its power, or at least they wanted some protection against it if it did. And they wanted more protection, and they wanted some of that power in the states, given to the states. So, in order to persuade America, okay, because they needed to approve this Constitution and they needed most of the states to do it, the Anti-Federalists wrote the Anti-Federalist Papers. Okay, and basically they just used that paper to argue against the more popular Federalist papers over here at the bottom. Okay. And the Federalist Papers showed up in national papers all over the country. It got large support from business owners and things like that. Okay, so those are some of the differences. Now, let's continue with some of the people. Now, there were some outspoken people on each side. They're normally the leaders of these movements. People like John Jay, Alexander Hamilton, James Madison. They wrote the Federalist Papers. There were a number of essays that they put into a book, or essays that they published into a book, and also got printed in national newspapers. The Anti-Federalists had really passionate people like George Mason, Patrick Henry, and a non-politician, a lady by the name of Mercy Otis Warren. And she was a writer. I don't believe she was a delegate. She definitely wasn't a delegate because it was just men only. But she certainly was an influential writer who wrote out, if you go here in the reading, let's see, I think you'll see my mouse. Right about here, Mercy Otis Warren talks about we just fought an American Revolution to escape the clutches of a king. Okay, why would we give all of this power and just walk into the clutches of a really strong government? So she agreed with the Anti-Federalists that there needed to be more protections against abuse of power. All right. So then, the Anti-Federalists suggested that there be a Bill of Rights added to the Constitution. This Bill of Rights would prevent the abuse of power from this strong, stable government. Okay. The Federalists, on the other hand, over here said, wait, those are unnecessary. We don't need a Bill of Rights in this Constitution because the states already had Bill of Rights. They already had those protections, so it really would be unnecessary to add them all over again to the Constitution. Okay, but the Anti-Federalists would not budge, so they had to compromise. And they made 12 changes. They only approved 10 of them. Okay, and those 10 amendments that they changed, okay, amendments are changes, became known as the Bill of Rights. All right. And based on that, the Federalists were able to ratify the Constitution, and the rest is history. We've been using this Constitution now for more than 200 years. All right. So now you can write your summary. Okay. If any of that was unclear, send me a message or rewind it and go back to the beginning. You want to write 3 sentences for your summary. It doesn't need to be that long. Tell me the position. Tell me what a Federalist is. Tell me what an Anti-Federalist is. And then, in order to ratify the Constitution, what did both of them have to agree on? When you're done, there is a boost opportunity, and this will be the first boost opportunity for second semester, and that is the quizzes game. You can find the quizzes game in Google Classroom. Should be a link somewhere near the top on the Federalists and Anti-Federalists. I forget how long that's available, but just go and check it out. And then once you return, we're going to turn those notes into a digital flip book. Okay, we're going to use 2 apps and we're going to smash them together to create a digital flip book that you can use to prepare for the benchmark. Okay, so I'll have more information on that next week. In the meantime, go ahead and take your notes, save those notes, because I will collect them at the beginning of second semester. Okay, if you have any questions, reach out to me and hope to see you soon.